Welcome to the Voices of the Goddess podcast. We believe that there is a goddess inside each and every one of us. When we use our voice to share that goddess, we support and uplift each other. Join us each week as we interview women to receive the message of their goddess within. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they are meant to be. I am Julietta, your co-host. I am the magical PT here in sunny South Florida, and I work with people to bring balance to their body, mind, and spirit so that they can function optimally and do everything that they want to do. I am originally from Wisconsin, so I'm a Midwestern girl, and which makes me nice because everybody from the Midwest is nice. And I'm a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. Actually, I don't do any of those things, but sometimes it feels like
that was awesome.
Right? So, and I was told to bring more comedy to the show, so I'm attempting that. So maybe one day I will add. You want to know what's funny though? Someone in the television industry once told me that I should be a stand-up comedian. I don't know. So I'm putting out my little funnies, trying to be funny out there. And no, but for real, I'm an artist, a jeweler, an author, a cat mom. I'm probably forgetting like 20 of the other things that I do, but that's enough about me. Tell us about you, Allison.
Well, I'm going to start with that I'm a dog mom because I have a dog that's probably going to bark any second. So just everybody prepare your ears. He's about to start. So, Julietta, I'm going to just step away for a second and I'll be right back. And I'll finish introducing. Actually, I can introduce myself while I walk over here. So my name is Allison Mancini and I live in South Florida along with Julietta. And we are both Midwest girls at heart. And a dog mom, as you guys can all hear me right now, that I just, it's like timing. Like our guest that's on here, it's always things happen when you least expect it and you just have to roll with it because that's just how we roll around here.
Gotta roll with it.
Yeah. So I am a dog mom. I'm also a human mom and a wife. My husband and I have been together for 28 years. My kids are 25 and 22. And my passion is, as you can see on my title, is I am actually a human resources director for an amazing female entrepreneur, social media marketing guru called the Gold Digger Girl. And then I'm also a functional nutritionist. So my passion really is in helping women be the best that they can be. And it's really through the food that you eat, because I know all too well how when you do not take care of yourself and you have a poor lifestyle, it will catch up to you. It may not catch up to you right away, but it will, I promise. And it's really important that, we take care of ourselves through the food that we ate. I'm also a co-host of this amazing podcast. And I'm not a candlestick maker, any of those things. I used to be a ballerina. That is something I did used to do. I
don't think you've shared that with our audience before. So.
No, I was a ballerina and that was like my dream. I always wanted to be a ballerina, but then I got too interested in boys and, life happens. So anyways, so we are going to talk a little bit about food and your stomach today. We have been talking about this. I know this is an interesting topic for us, but I'm like so excited to share this tip with our audience because one of the things as you get older, and Julietta and I are, very proud to say that we are older. And, but one of the things that happens as you get older is naturally your stomach acid just decreases. That's just how it kind of works. But there are things you can do, first of all, to help that. But there's also something really cool to find out. So if you're someone that has a lot of heartburn or indigestion or upset stomach, you just may not have enough stomach acid and your food just isn't digesting the way that it should properly.
That would be me.
Okay, well, this is a trick that you can determine if you have enough stomach acid or not. So you take a warm glass of water, like 8 ounces. You want to do this preferably in the morning before you eat. Take a teaspoon of baking soda, like baking soda that we find in our fridge and, stuff. Take a teaspoon in it, mix it up. Take a few minutes, just really relax. Drink that down. And if you do not burp, within like 15 to 20 minutes, you do not have enough stomach acid. If you burp, you've got plenty of stomach acid. So how do you fix that? I know, isn't that the weirdest thing? It's crazy, but it's an easy way to know. And how do you fix low stomach acid? Super easy. Juliet and I were just talking about it. 2 ways that you can do it. You take a warm glass of water and squeeze some lemon in it. I usually say like a half a lemon, whole lemon if you want. Drink that every morning. Or you can do a little bit of apple cider vinegar in water, like a teaspoon. Please don't drink apple cider vinegar on its own. It would be really, really bad. It would burn like crazy. So it's my little health tips because we have an amazing guest today. So
can you define what you mean by warm water?
Room temperature. Could be room temperature.
Room temperature. Okay.
Yeah, not cool.
Just wanted clarity on that.
Yeah.
So tomorrow morning we'll find out if I'm going to burp or not.
And I do not burp a lot at all in general. So I'm sure I have low stomach acid. So, and you know, what's interesting.
So burping is good?
Well, you know, when I can't answer that question. I don't know. But I do know that when we went into the pandemic, one of the things that I did every morning was drink a room temperature or warm glass of water with lemon in it. Cause it's actually really, you know, the lemon's really good for you. The warmth is good. It keep mucous membranes, you know, lubricated. It's just good for you. And I did that for like a year and I just stopped and I need to get back in the habit because I have noticed a difference. I've been getting like indigestion lately.
I did Taco Tuesday last night and it was horrible. And so us having this conversation I normally do lemon water every morning. I squeeze half a lemon in my room temperature water. But since, you know, I traveled a lot recently, I went to Egypt, I went to Wisconsin, and I just got out of that usual morning habit. And I think I'm paying the price for it. But I do I want to try the baking soda burp trick and just see if that works.
Let me know. Fun. It's like a science experiment. We can go back to school and have a science experiment. Maybe we should do that as like a video. We should create a video. We'll have Jess, our producer, make a video of us record yourself doing it tomorrow.
I will record myself. Oh my goodness. In my pajamas and everything.
Okay.
All good. I got this. All right. So we got a sponsor of the show. This episode is brought to you by Graciela Valdez Fine Art Photography. And I want you to know that Graciela is an award-winning, published, and professionally certified portrait photographer specializing in boudoir and personal branding. She creates custom and concierge portrait experiences that are transformative and life-affirming. Whether it's an intimate portrait honoring your highest self or a professional and engaging portrait for your business, she makes pictures of who you are, not just what you look like. And I can absolutely vouch for her services. I have used her for both boudoir and professional branding. And, you know, capturing the magical PT in a professional way, I think would be a challenge. And she did it amazingly. And so Allison asked me on a previous episode if I could share some of my fun branding photos in our group. So I will look for those later. It might not happen today. It's a busy day today, but I will get them up there so everybody can see the magic that Graciela creates because it's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm excited. All right. Are we ready to bring our guest on?
Bring on our guest.
We are excited. Hello, Jade. How are you today?
Hello, goddesses. I'm doing amazing. How are you doing?
We are great. So please introduce yourself to our audience. Tell everybody a bit about you and what you do.
Awesome. So as you can see here, my name is Jade Jaime. I am the founder and creator of Intuitive Health Guidance and Coaching. And essentially what that entails is really just taking a holistic approach and really looking at all of the pillars of life as well as health in order to get to whatever your goal is in terms of healing or whatever your health goal is. So I really do take a lot of attention on the energetics of a being as well as the environments of a being, the emotional, mental, obviously physical and most importantly spiritual aspects of a human being, and I really take those into account and work and co-create with my clients to build a life that they love on their own terms and in the most natural and holistic way. So that's me. I'm also a certified personal trainer, a fitness nutritionist, as well as a Reiki 2 healer and NLP practitioner. And I really just love incorporating all these tools with obviously myself, my family, my friends, and my clients as well. And really just using that to open us up and remind us of the divine beings that we actually are, and to get back to home and understand that disease or dis-ease in the body, mind, spirit is all just something that's kind of underneath the surface that we need to release, look at, and really just expand our consciousness to. So that's really what I'm committed to creating in this world. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. That's
Jess,
wonderful.
our producer, just showing you a little support there. I don't know if you can read that, but
yes, thank you, Jess.
All right, so let's dig right into our questions. And I apologize if you can hear the dog barking in the background, but we're just going to keep going with it. So,
no worries.
Jade, what is one book that you wish every goddess would read and why?
Awesome. So this one is actually a difficult one for me just because I'm so passionate about literature, about books. And I was thinking about this before answering this question, and I was like, I could go in the esoteric realm, I could go in the self-development realm, I could go in the biological realm, but what I ultimately decided ties all these things together is a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. So something else that I'm also really passionate about is making the spiritual realm and the spiritual world like bringing logic and systems to that world, because a lot of times we can kind of be in a woo-woo state and it's all amazing, but it's all mostly based off of conceptual things. So I want to bring structure to the spiritual realm, and Atomic Habits really goes over the science of habit transformation. It goes over, how to invite positive habits into your life and how to break old ones, and really just takes the blame and shame off of maybe not having perfect habits in your life and understanding how to actually just reverse engineer and how to get to those good habits. So I love that book, and I feel like I would read it 17 times. I've already read it 4 or 5 times. So,
was there a particular habit that book helped you with?
Definitely mastering my mornings. So getting into, by far, I'm not considering myself a morning person by any means right now in this moment. But it definitely helped me and supported me in creating these micro habits to build out a morning routine that supported me the most and really just allowing me to show up in my most powerful and authentic way. So I started off by literally just making the bed first thing in the morning, just waking up, making my bed, opening up the blinds, and playing the same Beatles song every single morning. So that way, those 3 things had a cue, like external cue to exactly what I was about to do in the morning. It's like, okay, this is the start of the day.
Nice. Can we ask what Beatles song that was?
Here Comes the Sun, of course.
Okay, of course.
Of course. And of course, like adding dancing. So, there's just so many different habits, and it just becomes a string of movement and momentum into your day. And you could use this obviously at any time of day, but making the bed signifies the beginning of the day. So that's the main thing that it supported me with.
Nice.
That's awesome. It is a great book. I've read it a couple times and it's amazing. So I love it.
You always get something else each time too.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So question number 2, what is your top self-care practice and how does it support you in everything that you do?
Awesome. So I have a lot, but if I had to pick just one, it would definitely be movement. So movement doesn't necessarily mean exercise or putting yourself in a box of having to do one particular movement on a consistent basis. but consistently moving your body. And that can look like obviously lifting weights. It can look like going for a walk outside for a mile. It can look like yoga. It can look like jumping on my trampoline that I just got as an amazing gift for Christmas and my birthday. It can look like just simply moving the lymph in the body. So again, tying together all the different bodies that we have. Not only are you moving your physical body, but when you move your physical body, you get to actually move emotions through your body as well and allow them to release. So it really supports all of the different bodies that we have. And that's why I love movement so much. Because a lot of times we look at self-care, or at least in the self-care space, I really feel like it's like, okay, let's take a bubble bath and let's put a face mask on, which are all amazing and great relaxation techniques. Like, get that central nervous system relaxed. I'm all for that. But ultimately, movement, I feel like, is going to take care of all of the bodies that we have: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Movement is a spiritual practice. I'll just kind of like leave it at that.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that. Right. And I love that. So important how, like, even like you made the comment about the lymph system, right? Like our heart and our lungs and all those things, they just move, but our lymph system is much slower. And the only way that it gets moving is when we move. Like if we're sitting all the time, and I think that's one thing so many people are doing these days. Like I sit at my desk all day long, and just even to get up and just like you said, I tell people that all the time, just have movement, just get out and go walk out back, take your dog for a walk to the mailbox. Like we do so little movement sometimes. And it's really important. So I really appreciate that you say that. That's awesome.
Definitely. And also kind of detaching this, again, like in the Western world where we attach movement and exercise so much to, let's say, like a weight loss goal.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
It's like if you lose weight, that's amazing. If you release weight, that's amazing. And that's going to be a consequence of you taking care of yourself as a whole human being, right, and moving that lymph. So you could actually even just do a series of breath work, and that would support moving the lymph as well. Yeah. So really just like taking the weight loss out of it and really just focusing on health, and movement helps you get there.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I totally agree. Because it's so true. I mean, how many people I know, they're like, okay, I'm going to work out. Really, I'm going to ride my Peloton for like half an hour today so that I can go out and drink and have cake and all this stuff. I'm like, no, like it's not working that way. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course. And I love what you just said about this, like connecting the exercise as well to, let's say, like earning a night out or food and pleasure is not something that we have to earn. And definitely connecting these two, like moving my body, I'm going to punish my body and move it in a way that doesn't even bring me joy. Let's say on a Peloton. If you like Pelotoning, enjoy. I do not. But I'm not going to go ahead and punish my body for 30 minutes or an hour so that way I can earn food. And again, I'm so committed to breaking that tie that we have in this country, and just in the Western world in general.
Yeah, I love that you expanded on that. It's so true. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Keep preaching that, because that's so important. I love it.
We need to put that like on one of our posts in social media. Remember that.
Notes.
Well, Jess, our producer's listening. Like we need to take that quote out from Jade Jaime, and it'll be a meme on our page. I love that.
Please.
All right. We got to keep moving with our questions here. Question number 3 is, when you're having one of those days that's difficult to show up, what tool do you pull out of your back pocket to make it happen?
Awesome. So again, it's like, it's never just one tool, but just for the interview's sake, I will go ahead and chalk it all up to connection. So underneath this umbrella of connection, that could either be connection to myself through breath. It can be connection to source through meditation or prayer. And then it could also be connection to others through just communicating, picking up the phone and having a conversation with somebody else. So that really supports me. And I found that it supports a lot of other people, including my clients, by really just reminding us that we're never alone. Like, we are the only thing that's in our physical human body, right? So like, yes, we are alone in our body. Maybe depends on how you go there, but let me reel it back. Okay. So in connecting with my breath, really, it takes all of the mind chatter out. It takes all of the to-do list out. It takes all of the overwhelm, the stress, the anxiety out. And there's nothing else but being present to the breath. So that supports me. And I would say the major one is actually connecting to source and God, and whatever realm you want to subscribe to that. I know a lot of people say universe, God, Christ, Buddha, whoever it is that you feel like connects you, do that thing and have a conversation. Like, typically if I'm having a hard day, and it's just like nothing's going right, and I have my heart beating extra fast or whatever it is, right? I really just have a conversation and I get curious. And I'm just like, okay, God, like, I am so willing to see this situation differently. I'm so willing to just gain clarity on what exactly is going on, because we always have our perception of what's going on and then we have what's actually going on. So I want to get out of overwhelm as quickly as possible and really just get to truth as much as I can. And obviously reaching out to like-minded friends in my community and family, that always supports, and they help to reground. So it's really just a connection and regrounding.
Yeah, I love that you bring up, reaching out, because so often I'm just going to speak for myself. Historically, I've always been in this space that I have to solve my problems, and I'm the one that's responsible for me, and I get to do this on my own. My mom used to tell me that I was independent from the moment I came out of the womb. And, quite a few years back, made that connection that I don't have to do everything alone. Like, that's what friends are for. That's what family's for. And then realizing that when I reach out and ask for their help, the joy that it brings them to be able to support me and help me, I was like, wow, I've been missing out on this my whole life. And reaching out to those around us, it serves us and it serves them as well. So that's a great, amazing tip.
Right, exactly. And it's just, that's the movement of the energy of the world, of the universe. And it really just fills into the receiving and giving, and really understanding that there's really not that much of a difference between the two. Giving is receiving and receiving is giving. Exactly. So in reaching out to somebody, you're actually giving them the gift to give to you, and you get to receive that. And then the energy keeps flowing in the world. So I love that you brought that up.
Well, we've been talking about gratitude too, I think, in every episode today. And recently was presence to not only giving gratitude, but receiving gratitude as well. That's a different shift on things, but it, goes hand in hand with what we're speaking about right now. So
definitely. I wish I could remember exactly what expert got this down, but there was actually a study that proved that when you're actually receiving gratitude and you believe what it is that people are actually saying that they're grateful for about you or what you do or whatever it is, that's actually the highest form of, it was a scientist talking about dopamine. You actually get the highest amount of dopamine from that. You could still get it from giving gratitude and writing down what you're grateful for, but actually hearing it, receiving it, letting it land, and believing it, that's like the highest form of a dopamine release. So just bringing that back as well to physical.
Perfect. All right. Question number 4, Jade, is what life experience has really helped form who you are today?
Again, we are always a culmination of all of our habits. But I would say one major one was actually a little over 7 years ago. I was on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day and a day after. I was actually Baker acted for suicidal ideations and really just like being in the worst mental spot of my entire life. And those 72 hours of kind of being in a hospital and detoxing from pharmaceutical medications alone was, I would dare to say, the lowest spot of my life. And it just gave me a real opportunity to take a look at the type of care that is available in, like, again, in this country, in the United States, in terms of mental health and preventative health. So I just had like a real moment with myself there of like, okay, why am I here? What's my purpose? And how can I make sure that not only do I never experience those feelings of such deep depression and overwhelm and anxiety, but how do I prevent as many people as possible from experiencing the same thing? So as soon as, I had a couple weeks to process that, and I would probably still dare to say I'm still processing that. I decided to commit my life to holistic healing and finding a natural way and a natural cure for near damn everything in this world, in this life. Again, like the medical system is amazing for certain emergency care type of functions. If someone has a heart attack and you need to operate on them right in that moment, if somebody breaks a knee, let's replace that, let's get it mended. But in terms of mental health, preventative health, and things that really can just be looked at before it's too late, there's so many options, but they're not in a public realm. So I really committed my life to making that as accessible as possible for everybody, and understanding that they don't have to suffer. They really, really do not have to suffer long term. Pain in this life is definitely inevitable, whether you're remaining the same or stepping outside of your comfort zone and changing, but the suffering is optional. And so I dedicated my life that year to start off by becoming a personal trainer, and then from there expanding into nutrition, and now I work with energy and all these other different things. So that definitely shifted the course of my life for sure.
Well, you're definitely preaching to the choir here.
Yep. I know. I'm like, yep, and amen to that.
And for myself as a physical therapist, it's been an interesting challenge, because physical therapy has so been a part of Western medicine. And, I've been doing this for 30 years now. Yeah, I was 3 when I started physical therapy. I'm just kidding. But
prodigy.
It's been a challenge to step away from the traditional Western medicine side of this, because I could see this is not truly healing. This is not going to create real change in people. And I've taken a lot of criticism over the years from my fellow PTs, because I'm not doing quote unquote evidence-based medicine. And, and it's at this stage of my life, I'm finally like really comfortable with, I don't care what you think about how I practice. If you don't like how I practice, don't come use my services. But there are plenty of people out there that can see the value in what I do, and choose to come to me and send all their friends and family to me. And I love seeing more and more people opening up to that more holistic and understanding that we're not pieces put together. We are a whole, and we have to look at the individual as a whole, which is not just the physical body, but the mind, the spirit, the emotions, all of that works together. So we're all right behind you here.
Yeah. Right. I know. I was going to say, it like breaks my heart in being, I have a 25-year-old and a 22-year-old that have both had health issues all their lives, more so my youngest. And, we did the very traditional, Western medicine route. And I agree with you. It absolutely has its place where it's needed in emergencies and surgeries. And I'm 100% on board with that. But there is limits there, and not even limits. I shouldn't say that. There's just gaps. There's just these gaps that they like skip over these huge areas. And we kind of learned the hard way with my own health and my daughter's health, kind of going through, real struggles like you did, and discovered that, Eastern medicine and nutrition and lifestyle were really what changed things for us. And it really breaks my heart when I run into mothers now with young children that, they're getting your child's out of control in school, your child he's not learning, all these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you just, you just like, we need to look at like how your nutrition, your lifestyle, like we need to look at this whole thing. And I wish I had known, because had I known, I feel like there are definite things that would have played out differently for my own children had I known better. So I am right behind you in continuing to get that message out there, and how really important it is that, you know, we pull in the holistic side of things. And I just hope more people start to do it. I just, you know, especially right now with everything that we have going on, I'm like, just take care of yourself. Just take care of yourself. You'll be good. So
yes. And I'm sure as a functional nutritionist as well, like something that when I found this out, I was like, first of all, I was angry, and then I moved into sadness, and then I moved into, you know, what can I add to this situation? But understanding that the average study time for nutrition for a medical student is like 21 hours.
Oh, I had heard it was even less than that. I heard it was like 1 to 4 hours. It might be 21 hours now, maybe.
That's the average. So there's going to be less and there's going to be a little bit more, but it really is heartbreaking, and it's sad, honestly, just because we deserve better.
Well, and I just don't understand how the dots don't get connected. Like, that is what you put into your mouth is what fuels all of your cells. How are we missing that boat? Like, I don't really, but I did. Listen, I shouldn't even say that, because I missed that boat for years. I didn't get it either. And it took me to get in a place where I was so, I mean, they were ready to Baker Act me, because I was so ill, for starters. And people, like, I was getting terms like, you're crazy. It's all in your head. There's you have all these, like, people were saying, doctors were saying I had mental issues going on. And yeah, I really did, because I was so undernourished, malnourished, bad habits, poor lifestyle choices, didn't know how to manage stress. Like, I could go on and on. So yeah.
We live in a nation, again, I'll kind of just always root it back to our world right now, but we live in a nation where we are so chronically overfed and undernourished.
Oh yeah.
And we get to address that. So thank you for doing the work that you do, because you directly are.
You too. And thank you to Jess for connecting us with you. I feel like you're my twin in a lot of ways. Just a younger version, a much younger version, but it's all good.
You don't look a day over 27.
Oh,
either of you guys.
Woo, times two. All right. So I think we could all sit here and talk forever, but we got to get wrapping things up here. But if there was one thing you would want our audience to remember about our time together, Jade, what would that be?
Well, my saying that I always say is movement is life. And to bring that to be a little bit more specific, it would be just continue to show up, and, you know, not just show up to show up, but show up rooted in your why. Like, show up in inspired action, whatever that is for you. So if you're a PT, like, what is your why? Why did you begin? If you're an artist, why did you start creating? You know, so along this journey, we're going to have times where self-doubt creeps in and things happen. You know, we have plumbers in our house, we have dogs barking, but it's like, why are you showing up? You know, so just continue to show up, and movement every single day, no matter how small, 5 minutes, doing whatever practice that is, or moving your physical body, is ensuring that you keep going. So just keep going and just keep showing up.
Love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jade. I feel like we overcame so many obstacles to make this episode happen. So It feels like extra special. But so thank you for joining us. And I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in out there. And if you've liked what you've heard, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share with other goddesses out there, because there's so much great information to be had, and all the goddesses out there can use this to help better their lives. Information from the show, if you need to get a hold of Jade or Allison or myself, you can find all of that in the show notes, so check it out there. And I also want to thank our sponsor, Graciela Fine Art Photography. And I wish all of you a magical day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.